I can't take it anymore, not anymore. No one said that this would get easy. No one said this wouldn't get hard. Brush it off and roll up your sleeves now. It's a shot in the dark till you get what you want.
Welcome on back to Spike College Football Show, Season 5, Week 12 or 11 or 10. I fucking hate Week 0 because it fucks with my head. I don't know where I think it's Week 12. What's going on, everybody? We have 3 of us this week. Almost 4, but, you know, we're going to roll with 3. We got the Jake Paul fight on today. It's November 15th. Remember to everybody to please click on our Spike College Football on X, Spike College Football on Instagram. And make sure you guys gift me my fucking birthday presents because it's 5 days away. So make sure you gift me all the gifts. I want all the gifts. I want to keep winning. All I've been doing, I was losing for a while. My picks are getting really hot. I'm finally in the 60% with the other idiots here. And you know what? I'm even repping today, boys. I'm even repping because I think they can win it all now. I said it. But what's going on, Rob? I'm not going to troll you. I already did the little troll in the beginning about something else. I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm not going to troll you about your team losing too because I think in the beginning of the year I said I didn't pick it last week, but I said they were going to lose to Georgia Tech because that's what they do. They lose to Georgia Tech. And they
we still don't have a fucking defense. And the only thing I'll say about it is I'm really glad we're on a bye this week.
They can't tackle. So let's talk about that game. I guess we'll talk about that real quick. Rob, if you guys could just tackle and stop. What they were running was a triple option-esque where it was a guy comes in motion and it's either a read to him, the slot that's in motion, or it's a pass, or the quarterback keeps it. It wasn't rocket scientists. It wasn't this amazing space-age offense. It was pretty basic, and they couldn't make a tackle they were getting 7 yards a clip. It was on the ground. It was embarrassing. So
one thing that I learned this week is that one of our defensive backs, I think he's a safety, he's like number 0 or something in the secondary. Frederic, that's his last name. I happen to teach one of his former teammates, who's a post-grad. He's transferred into our school. And he said, I'm giving him so much crap for being that bad at tackling because he's never been that bad at tackling, right? He went to high school with him for like 4 years. It was like, I don't know what happened, but he like forgot how to tackle. So I don't know what they're teaching or telling them that they got to do it this way or something if they want to start. It doesn't make any sense to me that someone who apparently was never that bad at tackling now joins the Hurricanes and is now atrocious at it so much that his former teammate is like, what the fuck is this? So I'm not sure what's happening. I don't understand it. I really don't like our defensive coordinator. And maybe it's not his fault. Like, if you have guys who just can't tackle, what defense do you call, right? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do with that? But from what I can tell, we have too much talent on that side of the defense to not be able to run zone and only have to play man constantly because we're even worse at running any zone whatsoever. It's just mind-boggling to me. I don't know what's going on. But I do know, again, there's one young man who's going to be going to Miami who is one of the surest tacklers I've ever seen live, like at a high school level. If he goes to Miami and all of a sudden forgets how to tackle, then I'm holding the program responsible because there's no way that he's going to forget how to do it from 1 year to the next. So that'll be the thing.
The Jets interim coach, Ulbrich, because we can't tackle either, actually went over how to tackle and he was embarrassing professionals, saying this is how you're supposed to tackle because maybe he should give that presentation to Miami because they're a national championship offense.
Yeah.
They have a national championship kicker. They have national championship defensive line. Their linebackers can't tackle. Their safeties can't tackle. Their corners can't tackle. It's just, and it's hard for me to watch, and I'm not trying to throw salt in your wound because I like Miami.
It's shitty. They're not the only ones.
Miami. I ride for you. They're my second team. it was so fucking infuriating that you knew what they were running, and they didn't even have 80 yards passing,
Yep.
and they just it was, and Haynes
Yep.
King was on an injury, and they couldn't
No.
stop.
I know. It was. We've been talking about it all year, though, about how weak this defense is. And again, it's not the individual talent. It's never been the individual talent. It's been the lack of cohesiveness on the team. The only thing we had going for us is that we would throw bodies at the problem, right? It's gang tackle, just send 5 guys to go tackle him, and then it's fine. But when you run a triple option, spread everybody out, now you have to make tackles in space.
It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one.
Everything falls apart. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Any other offense that we played against, unless it's like deep passes where our defensive line gets to go after the quarterback, running up the middle, we all gang tackle. We've done much better
And
job.
Cam had a chance at the end to even win the game because he came back again, and and he didn't blow it. Listen, he can't play Superman every single
week, right? You can't
he
keep
was
playing with
doing
fire.
a fantastic job of like covering up a lot of wounds for Miami, and he just couldn't do it. So everybody that was bashing him, he didn't, like, calm down, dude. Like, he literally got them back into the game. He got them back. He's won them 4 or 5 other games.
Right.
It's not his fault that he got stripped. That was eventually going to happen.
Well, like I said, I personally love a smash mouth offense. I personally don't want to have to rely on offense to win you games, right? Because offense wins games, defense wins championships. We don't have a defense, so we can't win a championship. I just want us to win the ACC. One championship, not the national championship, even though we have the caliber of team technically to do it. I just want to be able to get to the ACC championship and finally get that part laid to rest.
But the good thing is, we're not going to spend too much more time on mine, but the good thing is, Rob, you're in control of your own destiny.
I know. And
Because
maybe Pitt will help us out this
Now
week.
that Pittsburgh lost, you guys are actually in control. If Pittsburgh did lose, now you're in control. Now you're ready to go.
Yes. I'm still terrified of playing Clemson, though. SMU, fine. If we need to have 100 to 99 game, fine. Let's do it. But Clemson, not about that life.
All right, Tyler. What are the games? What's going on with you, bud? What games do you want to talk about that happened last week before we move on? I don't have anything pulled up, so.
Could talk about my big Ole Miss victory that I called.
Tyler was right. The only person to pick Ole Miss, the only person to hop on the Lane train, because you know what? I said I wasn't going to pick him until he won a big game, and you know what he did?
He did that.
He did exactly that. And they did it
been
on
a year
the
for that.
side of the ball.
Yeah.
But it's really been a year for like first. I mean, maybe not first, but just it seems like it, right? Like fucking Lane train. I mean, Johnny was doing this shit earlier with the Mets and saying that Alonso can't hit a fucking big hit to save his life, and then it's like a grand slam that day. Like every time you call out someone, they pop. I mean, I called out fucking Iowa State never being able to beat, like, what was it? Campbell can't beat Iowa. He did it this year, just every time we've been like, it's been a year for maybe not first, but very, very rare occurrences.
Colorado getting over the hump, Colorado being a playoff contender.
Colorado controls their own destiny
as well.
They went out. BYU
And
went out.
after last week's performance, Travis Hunter is now in the driver's seat for the Heisman because they dropped Cam Ward, because the only problem with the Heisman right now is that Cam Ward, Genty, and the quarterback from Oregon, the white kid, the lefty,
Gabriel,
they could all be in championship games, and Travis Hunter might not be. But I think if Travis Hunter makes the championship game, continues his stats, I think he wins the Heisman
easily. In my opinion, it's not even a contest, but
he has to make the championship. I think all 4 are going to be. I think the other 3 are going to be in there. So
I think it's all about winning. Well, so here's the question then: does Colorado have to win the Big 12 championship? No. He just has to make it.
Make it.
You think if he makes it but loses and they don't even make the playoff as a result,
that's a tall order.
He still gets it?
If
I
he
don't.
keeps putting up the stats that he is, man,
Sure. No, I agree, but I feel like I think you have to take
all
home
right.
a
But
big.
I say
You
if
don't
he
have to
makes
take a
it,
national
I say
championship,
if he
but
makes
you
it,
got
it's
to get into the playoffs.
50-50. If he wins it, it's 100%.
I agree.
And you want to know what's kind of funny with Colorado? Because none of the haters are out. No one's really talking about them. Shador might be the best player on the team. I know that Travis Hunter is the best football player, but the most important player on that team is Shador.
Yeah. Well, so what happens if Travis isn't there, though? What do you think happens? Do you think that Shador still wins games for them, kind of like Cam Ward?
They won 2 games without him.
Right. Who did they beat in those 2 games? That's what I was trying to look up.
Cincinnati and Arizona. So one
Okay,
really
the
bad
Cincy game
team,
is big. Yeah.
one really bad team, and then one pretty good team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What else? What else happened? Oh,
Kansas upsetting Iowa State and delivering that death blow.
yeah, we kind of Kansas. You want to know what happened? Jalen Daniels started playing good the last 4 or 5 games, and Kansas is on a run. I mean, he actually looked like what we thought he was going to look like. The one game, Alabama just went like this to LSU. Just said, "Hey, here, you see this? Spin it around, and this is what you're going to just take it."
So here, what we talked about, at least I talked about it. Blake Baker doesn't know how to stop a fucking running quarterback.
Nope.
Right.
We were 100% right. You're right.
It was so incredible to call it and then just see it happen. And it was like, there's no way we're the only people who knew that was coming. There's no way that we were the only people who saw that coming.
That
And
was
yet,
the easiest bet I've won all year, I think.
how much did you get for that one?
I didn't win a lot of money, but that was like the easy. I think I won like $60, but it was just like all right, you know what I mean? It was just a throw, like that was an easy win. That game was over early. Like they were always covering. I was never sweating that out. That was the easiest win that I had.
And the last game we'll talk about, South Carolina with the win now enters the clusterfuckery that is a possible 10-2 across either 5 to 8 of the SEC teams.
I told you, boys, South Carolina might be the hottest team in the SEC right now. You guys both pick Vandy, and Vandy's great. If Vandy was in the ACC, they'd be the number 2 or 3 seed in the ACC. They'd be right in the mix in the Big 12. They'd probably be the fourth. They'd be battling 4th or 5th in the Big 10. They're right there with Penn State. They're right there with Indiana, who looked very, 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 very. I told you they were going to look very bad. Not bad. They looked very normal against Michigan. But South Carolina is a very good team with a good quarterback, and things are happening. And William Bryce Stadium, man, you don't fuck around with that stadium. That is like I think that is the most underrated atmosphere in college football by a lot.
Their defense was just so dominant against Vandy, and I think we did talk about it a little bit, but it was just the idea of like, how far can Pavia go? Because he was not even like walking. You know what I mean? Like
and credit to him, he was gutting it out. He
always does, but it's like your body's going to give up on you at some point, and he's still, kind of tried to chip in there, but you can't do it all yourself. Like we saw Cam Ward, Pavia, whoever, you can't do it all yourself. You need to have people chipping in.
Real quick before we move on, I want to go back to the Ole Miss game real quick. Carson Beck's broken. Is Georgia's offense just broken? They don't have, and I don't think it's just Carson Beck. Like they lost McConkey, they lost Bowers. They don't have a primetime player on their offense.
And also when you throw 11 or 12 picks across 5 games.
And I think that's because they're playing tougher competition now, and they don't have a guy. Georgia always has like one guy. They always have a guy that is going to go out there and make a play. Green, Bowers.
Did I miss something where Etienne got injured or something? I don't understand why he only got less than 10 touches for the whole game.
And I'm pretty but they were also down the whole game.
Yeah, but Etienne is like, in my opinion,
should have been throwing him out of the backfield.
Yeah, he got 3 catches and he had 6 carries. But like, why is Nate Frazier taking 12 carries away from him? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I don't think he got hurt. I don't know.
I didn't think he got hurt either. It was just
last I read, it was like his shoulder was bothering him mid-game.
okay, because that's what made no sense. Like Frazier had a lost fumble, Beck had a lost fumble, Etienne touched the ball less than 10 times, and he was the reason why they showed up big when they needed him to beat fucking Texas. You know what I mean? That was the guy for them. Was Etienne made it happen when Beck did absolutely nothing that entire game. So I agree they don't have a receiving threat that's like particularly strong. But Etienne, I mean, you know, I thought Travis Etienne was incredible. I think Trevor's got a lot of fucking similar characteristics as his brother, and yet for this kind of big game, he touched the ball less than 10 times. They scored 10 points.
Tyler, can you bring up that college football championship before we go over the games?
Mm-hmm.
This is the new poll right now that they have out. Guys, again, I'm going to tell you, I think there are 4 guaranteed teams in right now. My guaranteed teams in, I'm not going to say where they're ranked. Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, and Penn State, I think, are guaranteed in.
Because Penn State doesn't have to play anybody?
Maybe Ohio. And the winner of Ohio State, Indiana is in too.
I hate that Penn State's in there. It's so obnoxious.
I don't think that they're a good team at all.
Oh, Penn State. Yeah, I agree with that. But
you disagree with that?
No, I said I agree with that.
She agrees.
But it's now, out of this matchup, so let's go again. Let's do these matchups, guys. I know this isn't what it's going to be, but let's just see where. I mean, Notre Dame didn't move. I have Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame can beat Tennessee. I think their defense is good enough to beat them, and their offense is good enough to beat Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think again, playing in Rocky Top is the issue.
Yeah, that is the big problem there.
Are they playing in Rocky Top? I can't really read it. They would be playing in Rocky Top. That's the only issue I have.
The top seeds are the 5 through 8, so they're the home teams.
I think Ohio State beats Boise State.
Yeah, which is a shame.
I think Ole Miss kills Penn State.
Yeah, well, so if Ole Miss keeps up this pace for the rest of the year, then I think they beat Penn State. If they drop off for whatever fucking reason,
think every seed. So I would have Notre Dame, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Alabama moving on, and I would have all those teams moving on the next round too.
So you'd have Alabama moving on and also beating Texas.
Yeah, and then I'd have Ole Miss beating BYU. I would have Ohio State beating Miami. The only game that I think I'd be maybe wrong on is Notre Dame beating Oregon. Which I think they could do if their defense shuts down Gabriel. I think that they could.
So
what I'm saying is this is so. I think there's 20 teams that can win.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Like the last couple of years, there's only been, even though I know the playoff was only 4 teams, usually there has only been like 6 teams that could win. You know, like maybe at this point, I legitimately see all these teams. I think if who's not in here, if Georgia's in, Georgia can win. I think if Colorado's in, why couldn't they go on a run? Who else are we missing that's not in right here?
The only real gripe I have is I think an SMU is a lot better than a 2-loss Alabama.
Why couldn't SMU go on a run? Maybe they can't win it, but they can go on a run, win 2 games, right? Well,
that's honestly my only gripe with the bracket here.
My issue right now is that Colorado, Miami, SMU, they're all like the new wave kind of Pac-12-y teams in this, right? So who knows? If they get the ball last, anything's possible, right?
But the
For
thing
all
is,
three of
all
those
of these teams, Rob, except for Notre Dame,
Mhm.
they don't play a grinded out style. Tennessee plays kind of a grinded out style. And matchups, that air raid can beat anybody except for the grinded out teams, and there's only 2 of them on the board.
Right.
And those are the only teams that shut down, that shut down the air raid type of. That's why I really like Notre Dame in this bracket, guys, because they can shut these teams down. They can grind out games, and teams that the grinders. Georgia won, Michigan won. The grinding teams win the championships.
Right. I think that's a decent thing. The only thing is that you're matched up. Like, if Notre Dame was matched up,
if we're matched up against anybody else besides Tennessee, I love our chances.
Exactly. Tennessee's the one team that can kind of.
And I guess Penn State's a grinded out team too, but they are so bad on offense that I don't take them seriously.
I don't think that they're going to beat you with their offense, though. I think it's going to be grind versus grind. And honestly, Tennessee's played a harder schedule than you guys.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they're good.
I'm saying that might. I'm saying Penn State's a grinder too, but Penn State doesn't have.
Oh, Penn State's pathetic. So Penn State, if they swapped with Missouri, they'd be exactly in where the spot that Missouri is. Like, that's my thing. It's like if Miami was where Colorado is, right? If you can literally interchange multiple of these teams with each other, and you could see their comparisons in other conferences, and essentially say Penn State is where it is because they've played no one this year. They've played Illinois, and they've played Ohio State. That's it.
And they couldn't get over the hump again.
Right. Of course, because they're not a good team. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, Missouri, well, you know what Penn State has that Missouri doesn't have? A tight end. That's literally it. Everything else, you basically have the same exact team, and you can look at everything that Missouri's had to go through while playing in the SEC. It just, to my mind, it shows why the SEC is clearly the dominant conference, even though they're having a down year at the top. From top to bottom, the SEC is far stronger than every other conference because that schedule will grind you up and spit you out. Penn State's been coasting through the Big Ten.
So
they almost lost USC, a shit team.
Out of this bracket, I only think Boise State, Penn State, and Indiana, the only team, and BYU are the 4 teams that could never win this bracket.
I disagree. I disagree with BYU because you don't know what this game will entail. It could be nighttime in Provo and nighttime.
No, I'm saying win the whole bracket. I'm saying win the whole bracket.
So I think Indiana has a legitimate chance to. If they figure it out. Well, because here's what I'm saying. You said it best. Michigan is a grinded out team, right? And so they had a grind out game against Indiana and made Indiana look very human. But none of the other teams in this bracket, besides Notre Dame, are grinded out teams. So Indiana, if you let that offense churn and churn and churn,
I need to see how they look against
polished.
another. I need to see, even if they lose to Ohio State, I want to see how they look against Ohio State.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I mean, it's going to be the real test of the season for them, not because of the offense and their defense having to stand up, but their offense getting in a good rhythm against Ohio State's defense. Because if they can do that, Ohio State's defense is not a shutdown defense in the more traditional sense that they've been in years past. They're definitely a much more, let's play fast, let's create turnovers, let's give our offense more chances.
I think they're more opportunistic and they're not as strong.
Right. And so if Indiana, that means that Indiana should get a lot of possessions. And to me, that's where Indiana gets that engine running like TA was talking about. And if you let them cook, even if you're taking the ball away from them, if they get the ball right back because Ohio State scores quick, that's not necessarily a bad thing for them. That means that they get to they get to do what they want to do and get into a rhythm. So I don't know. I think that game will go I mean, we got to wait a little bit for it, but I think that game will be a lot higher scoring than 20-13 or whatever the fuck Penn State. Like, Ohio State just played keep away from Penn State, and Penn State scored one touchdown off of like a pick six or some shit. Like, that's just so pathetic that Ohio State knew they could win the game with the 7-point lead.
Right. All right, so let's talk about what this was like all fantasy. This was fun. Let's go back, Tyler. Let's put up our games that we're going to be picking right now. Can you put that screen up or no?
Give me 2 seconds and talk, and I can.
All right, so Rob, who do you think right now is on the outside, like we just saw, that's looking at? I think Colorado and Georgia, right? Those are the two teams that were.
Colorado and Georgia. I'd say SMU is on the outside looking in, and that's because they haven't been, recently strong. There's no reason why they couldn't, also get a look like Boise, but they won't. Who else? I mean, I don't. Georgia. So Georgia's both strong and weak at the same time. It's just annoying. Like, I don't really look at Georgia and be like, oh, man, they didn't make it in. Oh, no, they should definitely be in the mix. Only reason that they should be actually in the mix, all three of the teams that we just said, is because they're definitely better than Penn State. But we're not going to be able to supplant Penn State for any of this shit. So that's the only reason that I look at them.
Tyler just brought it up. Let's talk the picks last week. JC didn't pick. He wasn't with us. Tyler went 15-11, the worst of the week. Rob was in second place with 17-9, and yours truly, the champ, is back. We're getting hot, boys. We're getting hot at the right time of the year. 18-8, up to 60% right now. JC and Rob are tied at 65. Tyler's at 62. Tyler, you've been dipping, bud. You've been dipping.
Wavering. It's okay.
We got to put an asterisk next to JC's name. Like, he's 65%, but he didn't pick for 2 weeks. So, yeah, he's going to stay at 65%.
I'm going to get his picks this week. I'm going to text him right after this. So let's talk. Let Tyler go throughout the games. Do what you do. Let's pick games. You don't have to go in order. Pick wherever you want. Let's go crazy.
We're going to start with a game that's actually going on. Currently, UCLA again are 4.5 points or 4.5 point favorite or dog at Washington. I will full disclose that UCLA is down 3-7 to Washington. And
doesn't matter. I'm picking UCLA. UCLA is one of the hottest teams in college football that started off really shitty. They're the exact opposite of Rutgers, really.
They're the Big Ten version of fucking Kansas.
Yes.
Like you said,
UCLA
take a
had
team,
very hard
drop them
start, and then Foster's got the boys rolling. I picked them against Nebraska. Sorry, Tyler, but like they've been playing really good football. And
also, full disclosure,
Bressmer's their quarter. Bressmer. Yeah, I think that he's been playing great football. I like UCLA.
Also, full disclosure, UCLA is about to either kick a field goal or score a touchdown. They're inside the red zone for Washington.
It's looking field goal, just FYI.
Looking field goal. Garbers is the quarterback for
Garbers. That's what Bressler's for someone else. Okay, yeah.
TA, you can go ahead.
I'm going Washington. Washington doesn't travel well, but they're undefeated at home this season. So
that's a pretty good stat. That's a very strong stat. I'm gonna go with
UCLA fumbled and Washington got the ball. So
just now,
yeah,
incredible.
Strip sack is what it was.
Oh, strip sack, Jesus. Well, I'm going to be contrary. I'm going to go with Johnny, actually. We'll go with Washington, with UCLA on this one. Washington, unless they run away with the game, which is very possible, but UCLA is very hot. They just beat Nebraska and Iowa. I don't believe in Washington's kicker, and I think this will be a very tight game. So,
all right, we're going to go to my team. At the Coliseum, Nebraska 8.5-point dog against USC.
I don't know if I can pick Nebraska to win this game. I think they definitely cover. I think regardless, they cover the spread. Tyler, give me some thoughts about this game because I need to be swayed.
It's interesting because they start in USC is starting Maivia because Miller Moss is now in the transfer portal. And then we made Nebraska made an OC change over the bye week. We now have Dana Holgerson.
I did not know Miller Moss was in the transfer portal.
He is in the transfer portal.
Give me Nebraska. I'm taking Nebraska money line.
After he got benched, he literally made an announcement the next day saying he's in the transfer portal.
I mean, so did Castellanos for BC.
BC too, yeah.
Is Lincoln Riley just like not a good coach and just got really lucky with good quarterbacks?
The thing that scares me is that these is two Mike Leach descendants going up against each other.
So I think that Lincoln Riley is not a good coach, but not because he got lucky, but because he doesn't know how to build teams. Does that make sense? He knows how to put together offenses somewhat, but only if the quarterback lines up. So in that case, he has to be lucky. But I think he knows what he's doing on offense. I think he has utterly no idea what he's doing on defense. And so I think Holgerson's going to tear apart USC. I think he's going to come in with a big splash. Everyone is going to be super excited in Nebraska. And I think that this is going to be like the kind of coming out party for Holgerson. Welcome to Nebraska. Because USC, I will never trust anything that Lincoln Riley does for defense ever again after he let a tight end fucking gouge his team for like 20 catches and 250 yards. Just pathetic. So Holgerson's going to have a field day with this shit.
And you could almost call this like the down bad bowl because like both teams are so bad that they literally have no idea what's happening.
Well, also the good thing is that USC isn't ranked, so Nebraska's going to win.
Right. And
real quick,
baby.
Before it goes on, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
It's not going to go on for another hour and a half.
I'm taking Jake Paul just so everybody knows.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Boxing's dead as a sport. If this doesn't prove to you that boxing is dead as a sport, boxing is dead as a sport. I call that Jake Paul is going to win by TKO because he hits fucking Tyson's ulcer or some bullshit, and he has to stop fighting because he's literally fighting an invalid.
Well, a lot of people think that Tyson's going to win, and they're idiots. And I can't bet on the fight because I'm in New York.
I'm just saying that even if Tyson were to win, it doesn't matter because either Jake Paul is a fraud or he keeps fighting has-beens who literally get injured by flying in an airplane. Like, I love Mike Tyson, but he literally delayed this fight because his ulcer flared up while he was on a plane ride. That's who you're fighting? Who fucking cares?
Speaking of frauds that artificially prop up internet celebrities, number 22, Louisville, who artificially is propping up most of the ACC / Notre Dame, 20.5-point favorite against Stanford.
It's in Stanford, right?
Yep.
I still like Louisville to win this game pretty easily, though. I'm going to take Louisville.
They are front runners, my folks. I'm really happy that they beat Clemson. Still very, very, very pleased about that. But Louisville is a front-running team. They always have been. So they're going to get up in front against Stanford. Stanford has the jankiest offense to ever kind of work that I've ever seen in the ACC. But they're not ever going to be leading in this game. So Louisville is not going to let them get in and even make it a competition.
Well said. I'm going Louisville. Thought I could be funny there. We touched on it.
I mean, I'm going to ignore the propping up because the ACC is not a good conference. We already know this. So
right, but all right. Anyway, we'll go to a team that got their first win in a while last week. Rutgers, 5.5-point dog at Maryland.
I'm gonna keep. I think they're gonna get bowl eligible. I'm taking Rutgers. I think they win this game, they're bowl eligible.
Yep. 2-4. Gosh. All right. Maryland.
Rutgers would be a
Honestly-
much better team if they weren't so damn injured.
True. Maryland. I'm just trying to see who Maryland beat this year. Well, they did beat USC,
See,
which doesn't mean anything. They
That's-
also lost to Northwestern. This is the most bipolar team in the Big Ten, which is saying a whole lot. I'm going to go with Maryland on this one. And then I think Rutgers gets bowl eligible before the end of the season, but I don't think today is the day. They'll get bowl eligible against Michigan State, so they don't need this. So I think Maryland's going to win this game because perversely, any game Maryland should lose, they win. And any game they should win, they lose.
And they gave Oregon a pretty good first half, too.
Yeah, they didn't lose by much to Oregon, and they
No.
beat USC, and then they lost to Northwestern.
that game
I know
was
what's wrong with this team.
game at halftime, FYI.
Mm.
We'll go to one of the Heisman favorites. Number 13, Boise State, 13.5-point favorite at San Jose State.
Tyler, I hate to ruin your weekend. Give me Ken Miyamaya-Lota. Give me what is the fucking receiver's name? The best Bass. The receiver, the best receiver in college football is on San Jose State. Give me Ken Miyamaya-Lota. Give me the Haka. Give me the amazing Pacific Islanders. I love San Jose State to win this game. I don't like it. I love it. I love it because I trust the coach. He's going to shut down Genty, and it's going to be over. It's it. Bye-bye, Heisman.
That's incredible, all of that to say. Nick Nash is the receiver you're talking about, I believe.
Nash.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the gentleman you're talking about, Neoma Talolo is
Ken Miyamaya-Lota. Used to coach Navy.
got it.
Yeah, I think basically it's late. I mean, you also look at it and say in the state.
I think he schemes up how to beat Genty. I trust him as a coach.
I don't trust the fake Samoan school. I go Boise.
You think it's a fake Samoan school?
A
That's
lot,
what it is. It's a
Lot-
fake Samoan
of,
school.
lot of Samoans go to San Jose State.
But what makes it fake? That's the part that I'm not
They're
sure.
on the mainland versus Hawaii, who's not.
Hawaii, like I get going to Hawaii, but also they're not Hawaiian; they're Samoan. Like they can go wherever they want.
Still,
Utah,
really
they can go to
called
Utah. They can go to
it should
fucking
really
BYU. A lot of
should
them
really-
go to BYU.
It should really be called San Samoan State because there's a lot of Pacific Islanders that go to San Jose State.
and yes, San Jose State uses that as a recruiting tactic, dude.
So I want to go with you on this, Johnny. I haven't seen enough of San Jose State to believe it. I guess it feels like you're relying on the fact that
I trust
it
the coach.
but it feels like you're relying on the fact that Boise State is so one-dimensional that you take literally one person down and the whole team falls apart.
No,
and
I
I'm just
think
not sure if
Malachi
that's true.
Nelson fucks it up for the team. I don't trust him. He couldn't win the job outright. I think they shut down Genty, and he has a couple mistakes here. So
Got it. I understand. For the record, San Jose State is 6-3. Their 3 losses are against Colorado State by 7. Fine. They lost to Washington State in double overtime by 2 points, which is incredible. Washington State is a good team.
they're ranked.
They're ranked. But they also got blown out by Fresno State, who I believe has already played Boise State and got trounced by them.
That's a
Not
rival
that that
game.
means
Can't do it.
anything.
Can't do it. Rival game. San Jose State and Fresno State's rivalry game.
I get it. And also, matchups are important. I just don't see it. I see it being extremely close. I do not see in a close game that San Jose State is the one to win and Boise State's the one to lose. So I'm going to go with Boise in like a 3-point
Yeah.
game.
We
I think it's
talked,
going to be extremely tight, though, not 14.5 points.
right? Okay. Obviously, I'm going Boise. But moving on. We're going to go to, we spoke about 2 down bad teams, including Nebraska USC. We're about to go to a third. Cincinnati plus 8.5 at Iowa State. Does Iowa State lose 3 in a row?
It's
No.
at Iowa State.
Correct.
It's at Iowa State.
It's in
This is
Ames.
at Cincinnati. I'm picking Cincinnati by a lot. But I'm going to think Matt Campbell's a better coach than that. I think he rightens the ship.
Okay.
But if this game was in Cincinnati, I'd be picking Cincinnati. And I like their quarterback. He's very that's Brosmer. That's the quarterback. That's where Brosmer that's where he's shifty.
So I think Becht figures it out. I'm not saying that, they blow them out or anything, because again, Cincinnati as a team is very shifty. That's how I would define Cincinnati this year, is that they are all shifty as a group. But they're not getting blown out of pretty much any game that they've played in. But they are losing a lot of close games, and I think that Iowa State will win this close game because they're playing at home.
And I trust Matt Campbell.
I don't know if I could say that, but I trust that Iowa State can win a close game. Even though they lost to Texas Tech and they lost to Kansas, I think they'll be okay.
Tyler, who you got?
I'm going Cincy. And I'm thinking about betting it too. Because 8.5 is too many points.
I think that's way too many points.
But
Incredible. So if I manage to
This is a field goal game. This is a field goal game.
But yeah, I see it as too many points. I see it as a lot closer of a game than that. And I think Cincy is a lot more clutch after Iowa State has lost twice in a row.
Since he hasn't won a clutch game yet.
And I'm saying they'll, if anything, they pull it off here.
All right. That's fair.
All right. We'll stay in the Big 12 for funsies. In Manhattan, a Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State, 8.5-point dogs at 20, Kansas State.
I want to take my boys. My quarterback and my running back. I want to take them. But I can't. I gotta go with Kansas State. I can't. Kansas State.
Is that me beeping? What is happening?
No, that's me. It's my fault. I'm trying to fucking shut
Somebody's
that shit.
blowing up right now.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing something stupid.
I want to pick Scatterbo and Levitt so bad, but I just can't, because I think it's home. Kansas State needs a win. They to stay in the Big 12 title race. I gotta take Kansas State.
Okay. You want me to go, Rob? Motherfucker.
No, I'm going. Figure out your shit. I'm going with Kansas State, not only for the reasons that Johnny said, but because they're coming off a bye where they lost after they lost to Houston. Like, this is not the spot where Arizona State comes in and just trounces them. I just don't. If Kansas State really is that fraudulent, which I know Tyler's going to say, then they are way more fraudulent than we had said before, that they can't come off a bye week after getting essentially embarrassed by Houston, even though it was a close game. Like, they should never even been that close, and they fuck it up against Arizona State. So go ahead, Tyler. Tell us we're wrong.
To be honest with you, I don't think you're that far off. This is another one where I think there's too many points involved. 8.5 is too many points. Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State hasn't figured out kicking. Obviously, K-State's going to be coming out of a funk. but I see this as like I did the last game. This is a lot closer, I think. But I'm going to go Arizona State. Roll
because
on.
Kansas State are frauds.
Yeah, and sticking with that too. But
I don't think Tyler has picked Kansas State all year.
I don't think he has either, and that's totally reasonable, honestly.
All right. Let's get the fuck out the Big 12, huh? Shall we?
Please.
Yeah. We'll go to Johnny B's team, Virginia. 22.5-point dog at number 8 Notre Dame.
Boys, I've always told you how great Notre Dame was this year. I've been riding them all year, just being like a real positive Pete. You know, they're the best team going. I love Freeman. Love Riley Leonard, one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Notre Dame gets the win, obviously, here. One of the best teams in college football.
About reaching a magic number.
Sickening. It's absolutely sickening.
Being rich.
Yeah, no, Notre Dame. Virginia is back to being Virginia.
Yep.
It's sad to say because when Virginia's good,
But
honestly,
boys,
the ACC.
They're a 22-point favorite. They did lose and they were a 28-point favorite this year. Just saying.
No, I know. But like I said, Virginia hasn't really shown up this year at all when they needed to.
Right.
And honestly, as an ACC, we'll say expert, I suppose. The ACC is a lot more fun and interesting when Virginia is good and when Wake Forest is good.
And Wake Forest, yeah, that little.
Well, yeah. So Tech, I mean, so that's the thing. The perennials are a mix of Tech, North Carolina, fucking Clemson, or Florida State, or Miami, right? These are all kind of the people.
Syracuse, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Duke.
That second tier, when those teams are good and like more than half of them are, the ACC is not only really interesting and I think really fun, but also makes us better. Definitely than the Pac-12 in years past, better than the Big 12, but this year we're not. And maybe even better than the Big 10 in the mid to lower areas. But who knows? This year, I don't think we got it.
This year, you guys are the worst Power 5, Power 4 conference by a lot.
Yeah. That's the thing. This year, we are not. So, I don't know. With the ACC being like it is, really with Miami being like it is, I would like nothing more than for Miami to win the ACC in a weak year for the conference and just win their first game they play in the playoff, just to stick it to whatever Power 4 conference team they have to play, just because every year that the ACC is considered shit, and we are, and yet whenever we got into the playoff with Clemson or Florida State, they fucking won. So what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Almost every year, like more than half the time, which is better than the Big Ten. That entire BCS like run where SEC dominated everything, the ACC won multiple times over SEC teams.
And multiple titles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Multiple titles over the SEC directly. And the Big Ten did that with one team. And they fucking suck. We hate Ohio State. This is a anti-Ohio State podcast. So anyway, no, I would love Virginia to pull the upset, but it's not going to happen. They're going to become bowl eligible, but not this week. I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech at the end of the year to become bowl eligible. That's what I assumed from Virginia.
All right. Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame because I'm the asshole that always points out to Johnny B that Riley Leonard has thrown multiple forward passes for good amounts of yardage each week.
Riley Leonard's probably the best quarterback in college football. What are you talking about? I've never said he wasn't.
Oh my
God.
Well, still, probably the most interesting game in the Big Ten, and I'm sorry on behalf of the Big Ten because the rest of the games are kind of garbage. Michigan State plus 2.5-point dog at Illinois.
This might be the best game of the week in the Big Ten. You're right. And I'm going to roll with Bielema needs a win here, and I'm going to roll with Bielema. And I'm going to roll with my boy. I love Altmaier. You know, I've talked about him. I think he's very underrated. Give me Luke Altmaier and Illinois at home.
Why did this line shrink?
Tickets as low as $8 at Memorial Stadium. So while I am still going to roll with ILLINI because I am an alum, it's not because of the hometown crowd. It's because Michigan State is just a weak program. And I think that Bielema won't care if there's 5 people in the stands or 500,000. He's going to get those boys ready to just take care of business against Michigan State. That's all you have to do.
What else do the Illini fans have to do this weekend? What the fuck?
Basketball season started, bro.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And more importantly, women's volleyball season started.
Are they good? When are they good at women's
No.
volleyball?
So they're pretty good. I mean, they're not Nebraska level, right? Fucking the shit that happens out in the true middle part of
I
this
thought
country.
I thought only the coasts were good at volleyball.
No, we got a pretty good dynasty here, bud.
Really?
Nebraska strong, Oklahoma, Texas, like they play some good volleyball. But Big Ten volleyball is just a thing that everybody comes out for. Like
Maybe
they're
I'll
maybe
I'll actually have to watch on the Big Ten Network.
the name of the place that the Illini women's team plays at is called Huff Hall, and they always say stuff Huff, and everybody fucking shows up for that. And for basketball, almost nobody ever goes to Memorial Stadium. Like I could walk into the stadium on game day, not even have a ticket, and they'll probably let me in. Most days. Back in the Ron Zook era, and even now because they're not ranked anymore. It's crazy what happens that Illinois gets worse at showing up for football games once the real sports start playing. So anyway, I think Bielema's going to get him the win anyway because he's a professional, unlike Ron Zook.
Tyler?
Going Illinois. The line shrunk from 3 to 2.5, and I think somebody's hurt on Michigan that we don't know about. You're going to have to double check this one. Number 3, Texas, 12.5-point favorite at another Memorial Stadium in Arkansas.
Yeah, this is a. You know what? I'm gonna do something stupid here, and something I'm gonna regret. This is the line. I think Arkansas pulls it.
12.5.
It's still
According
12
to ESPN.
I think Arkansas pulls the upset, boys.
2 in one season. 2 in one season. You wouldn't give them 2 in a row, but you'll give them 2 in one season.
You're giving Sam Pittman way too much credit.
I think that their defense plays great. I think nobody's going to see this coming. I think it's a home game for Arkansas. This is a old school Big 8 rivalry. I think Arkansas shows up.
Arkansas was not in the Big 8.
What was it? What was the conference? The Southwest Conference. My bad.
There you
Southwest
go.
Conference.
I was
Sorry,
like,
my bad.
Arkansas was not a Big 8 member. I wouldn't know.
The old school Southwest Conference rivalry. Give me Arkansas to pull the upset by grinding the ball out, deflating the ball, and winning the game 21-17.
We're going to have another deflate gate. Is that what we're saying?
I'm going Texas.
I'm going to go with Texas because I believed in Sam when he had an entire bye week to fucking prepare, and his offense came up with 10 points, 10 against LSU, against Blake fucking Baker. No. I lost all faith. If he pulls 2 major upsets in the same year, then that would be a year of firsts. But I'm not going to believe it until I see it because he fucked me when he couldn't score more than 10 points against Blake Baker's defense.
Boys, if this happens, the SEC is going to be fucking shook.
I think Johnny is awarding Sam Pittman with something that Sam Pittman has never been awarded with. Consistency. And I don't think that happens.
I mean, to be fair, they would be pulling this upset after 2 weeks of getting absolutely obliterated by the competition. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's consistency. It's just more of lightning striking twice in the same season. And I mean, Sam's a big guy, but even he shouldn't get struck.
Fuck it. I'm taking Texas. I'm not doing it. You guys, what am I doing? Taking Texas. What am I doing?
Like
It's because it's them. I mean, listen, if they happens, like I said, Johnny, I agree with you.
But
It'd
this
be
is a spot.
amazing.
The reason is it wasn't because of Sam Pitt. The reason was they have a decent offense, they have a good defense, they have good players. This is more of this is a spot. Like
But
It is a spot.
Texas
It is-
has A&M next week. They have the conference on the line. Like nobody's gonna see this coming. But you're right. It's
Yeah.
Sam Pittman, so it's Texas.
And if it was sub 10 points, I'd agree with you. But it's not sub 10 points.
And the reason I liked it because it was under 2 touchdowns. I don't know.
I would say that Arkansas will get a second upset this year, but it'll be the last week of the season when they beat Missouri,
Missouri, yep.
because that will be an upset still, right? But I just don't think.
All right, but you see
I
what
don't
I'm talking about, like with the spot, how the spot is, like.
Yeah.
I totally see that, and I totally can foresee and bet Arkansas covering that. Totally.
Well, Johnny, I would be fine with Arkansas winning and you getting the upset. I just don't want to be the guy to pick on Sam because I put my full faith in him earlier.
Yeah, I
this
think
season.
Sam Pittman's a fat piece of shit. Texas wins.
We'll go to a funner conference to lighten up the mood. A 25 Tulane, 6.5 point favorite at Navy.
This
That
could
is
be
fun.
for the ACC. If Tulane wins, I believe they're going to be in the championship regardless. So I'm gonna pick. I'll ride Tulane. Navy's been they didn't look that great last week after the Notre Dame shellacking. They did win. They won. They beat USF. It's just I don't know. I think Tulane has it. I think it's gonna be Tulane versus Army.
So wait, if Navy wins, they're in the championship. They still have to beat Army.
So
I'll double check that.
I think
Navy's 5-1 in the conference.
Yep.
that would be Tulane would be 5-1, Navy 6-0, and
No. So Navy's 5-1 right now, and Tulane is 6-0. So if they win, they would be 6-1, 6-1, and then I think Army's still undefeated, right?
right, that means it'd be Army Navy because
But it would be Army Navy
They have the head-to-head matchup.
because they have the head-to-head matchup. I'm gonna go with Navy. It's senior day in Annapolis. This means a whole lot.
I thought you said this was in Tulane.
No, it's at Navy.
Ah, fuck it. I hate to say it, go Army, beat Navy, but Navy wins. I like Navy. Fuck it. I thought it was in Tulane.
It would be definitely a big upset. Like Tulane's a heavy favorite, but for good reason. I don't know. Another Memorial Stadium. How about that?
Right.
I just think that this is the first senior day in a very, very long time that should actually mean something. So,
Tyler, who are you picking?
I'm going Tulane.
there he is.
That's
Yeah,
Tim
that's fair.
in Louisiana there. All right. What conference? It's all Big 12 ACC left, pretty much. Shit.
You got to go with the ACC at some point. Give me something to work with.
Number 24, Mizzou, 13.5 point dog at South Carolina.
South Carolina covers the spread too.
Yeah,
Missouri
South Carolina by 30.
Missouri's not good. South Carolina is home. They're good. Sellers, that defense is fucking unbelievable. They're gonna eat Cook up or who's ever playing court. I don't know if Cook's playing. They're just gonna eat that off. They're gonna eat that offense up.
All
So
right.
earlier, I would say South Carolina would struggle to win by 30. They would win, but they wouldn't win by 30. But they've proven that they can put up points. When they shellacked Texas A&M at home, I don't know, man. Yeah, I definitely think when they shellacked Oklahoma on the road.
And
So
I'm pretty sure that's a mid-afternoon game or a light game.
it's a 4:15 kick.
Well, it's a mid-afternoon game, so it's gonna get dark at William Price. So yeah.
True. So they
Alright.
certainly have the capability to run up the score in Missouri. I think they will do it. South Carolina by 30, not 13.
I think they definitely cover. Yeah, definitely cover.
All right. We're going to go back to the mountain West San Diego State, a 20.5-point dog against the go-go offense of UNLV.
I just like saying UNLV to win. I know this we shouldn't have to pick this game, but I just like UNLV. I like them.
They are super fun. People, I'm still seeing it's Hey Sluka, it's what is it? It's UNLV, not UNILV, something like
Yeah.
that.
Hey, can they make like a decent bowl, like a New Year's bowl?
There's a high likelihood if they finish second behind Boise, they're probably going to a New Year's Six bowl.
Like a Peach Bowl or like a I don't know what are the bigger bowl? I don't know what the other lower tier bowls are.
Yeah, Peach, or maybe there's a couple in Orlando.
The Gator Bowl's not that small.
Yeah, no, there's the Camping World one in Orlando, which is
Yeah,
pretty
what's
solid.
the one in Raymond James? It's pretty good.
Is that the Pop-Tart one?
I don't know now.
Raymond James has a bowl.
I've been to the one in Ray J, but
It's the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl or something.
yeah. That's. But I thought that one was attached to specific conferences, but maybe not.
Oh yeah, that was SEC Big Ten.
Yeah, no, UNLV. Do you think they cover?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
San Diego
They're fun.
State. Good.
it's true, but they're fun. They're very fun.
Yeah, very fun.
They did struggle. I mean, like I said, they barely lost to Boise State, but then they barely beat Hawaii. So, I don't think UNLV would have to turn it around dramatically from where they were, because it's been like since September that they've really put up a ton of points, or rather beat someone by more than 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to say they don't cover,
okay,
but I do think they're going to win.
fair enough.
I'm going to get some more of these thicker lines out the way before we get to the interesting ones, okay? And it's mostly in the Big Ten. Number 4, Penn State, 28.5-point favorite at Purdue.
I just wanted to say that this game is awesome because it's being played at Wrigley Field, and that's pretty.
No,
fucking
that's the Northwestern game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That one's Northwestern and Ohio
Oh,
State.
but never mind. I don't give a fuck. Ohio State, big.
But this
So
is
Penn State
versus Purdue.
Penn State versus Purdue.
Oh, Penn
Two
State.
teams that are shit.
Yeah.
Penn State. Oh, Penn State, big. Ohio State's playing Northwestern. I'm sorry.
You're good. Penn State's going to win because Purdue is garbage.
Nothing
They should
would
have been the ones to
Nothing would make
fucking-
me happier. I'd even take a Notre Dame loss this week if Purdue beat fucking Penn State. I would fucking love it.
Oh, I'd love it too, because it's Purdue's,
Well, again-
Purdue's always known to pull out a big win out of their ass, like they almost did against
Even
them.
when they're
Illinois.
even when they're a 2-win team, they beat like an Ohio State. It's
They,
weird.
it's possible. It's possible. They almost did it to Illinois. I would love nothing more, but I cannot trust Purdue. Cannot trust them. Drew
Boston,
Brees could come out of retirement, and then I would trust this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just got nothing right now.
Boston College, an 18.5-point favorite at 18.5-point dog. Excuse me, at number 14, SMU.
I like SMU huge here. Castellanos went into the transfer portal, or he didn't. He stepped away from the team because he wasn't playing, which I don't know if I like or not. But
He hit the portal. He said he's going to be going into the portal.
Yeah, he did hit the
I don't know
portal.
why Boston College would get rid of him. He played so well in the beginning of the year. They just fell off when he got hurt. After he got hurt, like they just kind of gave up on him, which I don't really agree with. Like he almost won them the game in Missouri. He won them the game. I mean, they beat somebody pretty big in the beginning of the year. I don't know what happened with that. Whatever. Bill O'Brien had his thoughts. Whatever it is, I like SMU to win though, big.
Well, I do know that they benched him for his backup, and let's see. Just want to make sure. So the guy they replaced him with ended up, we'll say, orchestrating. So Grayson James orchestrated. He went like 5 of 6 and orchestrated a touchdown, and then also handed the ball off a couple times, and they scored 2 more touchdowns to catch and beat Syracuse 37-31 when they were losing, when they benched Castellanos. So I think that's what O'Brien is thinking, is just like ride the hot hand, and then, of course, Castellanos, this being the age
I
of
thought he played so well the first few games. Like I would never think he would.
like I said, he played really well, but he's also a little guy. Like, he's not a big dude, and when he gets
he's tiny.
Yeah, but it's like Pavia, you know what I mean? Like, you can only take so much punishment before you start not playing as effectively.
Yeah.
That's just what fucking happens when you're that. He's not a big dude, and so he takes a lot of fucking punishment because he keeps putting his nose in there, and that's what Pavia is doing. And it's just, you gotta. You can't be too out there every fucking time and expect that shit's not gonna come back to bite you. So, to reference something that has nothing to do with college football, but kind of does.
All right. I almost want to do this as guys have it and the nays have it with this next game. Utah, Isaac Wilson, 11.5-point dogs at number 18, Colorado.
Colorado, big, huge.
Colorado.
We all are in an agreement that Colorado's probably going to win this game.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can go ahead and justify it why, if you want to.
Nah, because
We already talked about it.
That's what I thought. Cool.
Wilson's playing quarterback, first of all.
No, it's even the guy beyond Wilson, because Wilson.
He got hurt, and Wilson started.
Mono.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so he can't play. Hey,
So this is a perfect opportunity for stat padding.
Yep. All right.
I'm gonna say Travis Hunter 3 touchdowns. Maybe
One of them defensive.
one on defense.
Yep. One of them defensive for sure.
All right. The last. Well, that's a lie. The last game that's a lopsided. Number 1, Oregon, 13.5-point favorite at Camp Randall against Wisconsin.
Can Wisconsin pull this?
No.
Oh.
They couldn't pull it against Alabama, and Oregon's a better team.
Yeah.
Maybe Oregon overlooks them, but I don't think Oregon has anybody to look forward to. They have a cakewalk to the finish.
What do they have after this? Oregon State. That's their rival game. That's it, right?
They have Washington.
Yeah. All right. So give me Oregon big.
That's the issue. Is Oregon doesn't have any other big games to look forward to. So if they overlook anything, it's worse than if Miami, fucking fucks it up somehow on the way out, because we also have a cake schedule.
All right. We're all in agreement there. Oregon's going to win. We'll go. There it is. Number 17, Clemson, 11.5-point favorites at Acrisure and Pitt.
Clemson big. Clemson huge. Pitt was exposed. They're frauds. Pitt's not good. Clemson big.
I have Clemson as 20. Why do you say 17? Is that CFP rankings?
That's probably why.
Okay. That's why I was super confused. Well, I'm going to tell you folks that while Pitt was exposed, Clemson was pretty fairly well exposed as well. Like, both of these teams are not as strong as they should be. Now, to be fair, Clemson lost to Louisville and Pitt lost to fucking Virginia. But I don't see how Clemson wins this game by fucking double digits. I don't see it. I do not see it. I know that Dabo's used to playing at Pitt, but still, 12 p.m. kickoff in Pitt is not a fun time. Nobody enjoys this fucking game. Not a one. So, and also, this is Clemson's last road game for the season. They're at home for the rest of the year, at home against the Citadel next week, and then at home. Well, and then I guess it's not at home, but then it's the South Carolina game. So, I know they got to take care of business as their last ACC game, but Pitt's not going to make it easy for them. So I am going to tentatively pick Pitt because I would love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen. Let's just put it that way.
I'm gonna do that as well. I'm gonna go Pitt.
Wow.
And if this was in the fake Death Valley, I probably would have leaned Clemson, but Pitt's kind of an animal at home.
They're both
Virginia.
fake death. Just for the record, the real Death Valley is a desert
I know.
in Arizona or California. I mean,
It's Nevada, technically, but
whatever. The point is that all of the places called Death Valley are all fake because they keep taking shit from the real Death Valley and putting it in their southeastern swampy stadium and calling it Death Valley. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, but-
It's the weirdest flex
But if
I've ever seen.
Yeah, but if we're going to be honest with each other, Death Valley is, in football terms, it's LSU. Let's be real.
For sure. I'm saying, why are both of the Death Valleys in the fucking swampy southeast?
yeah, when the real Death Valley itself doesn't have any moisture at all.
It should be Arizona State. It should be
Right.
Death
That's what it should be. Anyway, it's fine. I digress. It's just if I had a nickel every time a fucking team from the wettest part of the country decided to call its stadium Death Valley, the driest part of the country, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
And they have to be, and they're both Tigers.
Yes, and they're both Tigers, which also don't live in Death Valley.
Or in the Southeast.
Fucking weirdest flex ever between these two dumbass programs. No offense to LSU, they did it right, but still, the fact that Clemson also decided to do it is bizarre.
If anything, we endorse the LSU way versus the Clemson.
Well,
100%.
way more.
100%. But just still, such a weird flex, and even weirder that it happened twice.
Anyway. We'll go number 6, Tennessee, 10.5-point favorite at number 11, Georgia.
Guys, this game, I just don't know.
I think Georgia doesn't win by a lot, but I think that they this is going to be probably the most boring SEC bullshit game we have ever seen in the year of our Lord 2024.
So Georgia, they have to win this game, right?
Yeah. But
I'll go with-
Tennessee also has to win this game so they don't get knocked out of contention.
Well, they can
I'm
take
gonna-
another L, just not one more. Georgia can't.
I don't trust Beck, but I trust the Georgia brand, which is a terrible way to pick a football game because I want to pick Tennessee so bad here because I think they have the better quarterback. They might have the better defense. No, I'm doing it. I'm putting my balls on the table like a man. Tennessee wins the game. Tennessee wins. Because honestly, they have the better quarterback. They have the better defense. Head coaching goes to Georgia, but not by that much. I think the Jimmies. I think the Jimmies and the Joes get it done for Tennessee. I don't trust Beck at all. I don't. They have no weapons except for Etienne. If he's, I like Tennessee.
So I'm going based off of more of a vibe check of the SEC this year. Every single time the SEC has just like all right, we got someone. Nice and easy. Just let them get into the fucking thing. Somebody upsets the apple cart. This has now happened like 3 or 4 times this year. Georgia being one of them, upsetting Texas. So I see Georgia playing spoiler again just because they can. This seems to be the only thing that Georgia is good at is playing spoiler this year. When they actually when they're the favorite to win, and I mean technically they are, but like when they're the ones that should win so that they guarantee themselves that spot in the playoffs, they fuck it up. But when they get to be a spoiler and ruin someone else's chances of getting in, they are now like 2-0, I believe. So I don't know. This just feels like now the line that I'm seeing is that Georgia is the favorite by 9 points.
So it shrunk. It did shrink by 1.5
Okay.
when you wrote it, Johnny.
Well, I like Tennessee boys. I just
You're not wrong.
Rob,
Everything you're saying is correct.
the
It's just that
problem is-
Georgia's going to show up in
I
this
agree
game.
with it. I agree with everything you said with like the vibe thing with that. I can see where you're coming from 100%. But I'm gonna go with the players in the field.
That's fair. Now, we did watch Tennessee like have trouble finding their dick against UF, so that was painful to watch. But and that was at home,
I
so
know.
that's the only thing. Like,
This is a tough game, dude.
but not because they're two good teams, it's because they're two
Mediocre, very mediocre.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
very meh teams.
Two very good defenses, two very, very mid offenses.
That could sometimes explode out of
Right.
nowhere. It's just
Right.
weird.
Exactly. Yeah. No, just bizarre. I'm gonna go with Georgia.
Tyler, break the tie.
I'm going Tennessee. I'm sorry.
Ooh, baby.
You can't like Carson Beck can do some phenomenal things like we have seen this season, but you can't give up multiple interceptions in a game. You just can't and expect to win it.
And he keeps doing it.
Uh-huh.
He
It's-
absolutely does. 17 touchdowns, 12
11?
interceptions this
11?
year,
Oh, 12. Okay.
plus God knows how many
I
fumbles.
think he has like 3 or
Don't know.
4 lost fumbles too.
The uncanny bit is all 12 of those interceptions have occurred across the last 5 games. I cannot back that pattern. I just can't. It's Tennessee.
That's fair. Oh, it won't tell me. Yeah, I was trying to see what the stats on his fumbles, but they won't give it to me. Anyway, no, I know. I think that Georgia, just like they did against Texas, will win despite Beck, not because of him. But they've already proven they can do it, and I think Kirby Smart figures it out again. And yeah, I don't know. It feels inevitable to me. Hopefully, well, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't really care about either of these programs, but it feels inevitable the way the SEC is going this year that this is what's going to happen.
All right. Houston, the tightest of the spreads at 1.5 point dog at Arizona. And I will foreclose this game is going on, and Arizona has a 7-0 lead.
Give me
Early in the first.
Give me Houston.
Okay.
Arizona should not be this bad.
Arizona's a dead team. They're dead.
Arizona's down bad. That's that.
I know they're down bad, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's no reason why Arizona should be this poor, from what I can tell.
There is no reason. You're 100% completely right, but they are.
All the
Exactly.
fight went out of him at some point. I just don't understand it.
It was the in-state rivalry. It was when the fight essentially left, and I can't even find a reason in that game why. But anyway, sorry, I
makes
didn't
no
mean to cut
sense.
you off, Rob.
I'm going to go with Arizona. Bear down. Let's go. They're not even, I mean, they're 3-6. Like, they still could make a bowl this season. There's no reason for them to give it up, especially because they're coming off a bye. Not that that fucking means anything, but they got to play because they haven't even played Arizona State yet. So they can beat TCU. I don't know if they will, but they can. They can definitely win this game. And then at least they're trying to get bowl eligible against Arizona State. But it makes no fucking sense to me that Arizona is as poor as they are. So I'm going to go with Arizona just to be that guy.
I just don't. What about Houston? So fucking sneaky good.
Yeah,
That's
no, they've been
fine.
sneaky good all year. I agree. I just
quarterback.
they're playing in
Their
Arizona.
quarterback is I forgot his name. Their quarterback is a cheap Jalen Milroe. Exactly what he is.
Leon Chris.
Yeah,
Okay. I know the name. Yeah.
He's a cheap. He's the Walmart Jalen Milroe.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a correct assessment.
He's a big
But,
boy. He's a big boy.
Fafita is the Walmart version of Castellanos, I guess. I don't know, but
And it should have been the other way around starting the year.
Right.
for sure, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna take Houston.
I'm going to stick with Arizona just to be contrary.
I'm suspect about that spread. That spread.
Is that all the games?
No.
What?
That's got to be
No.
all the games. No?
No, we got 4 more. 2 Big
Shit.
Ten and 1 SEC.
I'm trying to think of the big games that are coming. I don't remember any other big games.
We'll just go from point spread on down. Washington State, number 19, 10.5 point favorite at a very, very point scoring New Mexico.
I like this game to be kept within the numbers, but I like Washington State to win.
I don't think New Mexico gets the ball enough to put up a ton of points because Washington's going to run with fucking their quarterback.
But I think New Mexico scores on like every possession they have, though. But not enough.
Yeah.
That's what's stupid consistent about New Mexico. They didn't score points on like 6% of their drives, and that's like unheard of.
Yes. 100% agree. Should be a fun game, but Wazoo is a ball control kind of offense, and that's exactly the kind of offense you want to negate the little engine that could, which apparently is New Mexico.
All right, number 21 LSU. If Nebraska USC is the down bad bowl, this is the down bad bowl of the SEC. LSU 4.5 at UF in the swamp.
LSU is going to smack these motherfuckers. Please do it for me.
Same. I'm in that camp. Because it seems like ever since UF and Billy Napier announced, yep, we're sticking with him, and teams have continually delivered reality checks.
Guys, I want to pick Florida so bad. Because this is like a low-key rivalry that people might not know. Like, that's an actual
Oh, no, it
rivalry.
is. It absolutely is.
But I can't. I don't know if Lagway's playing. Billy Napier's so fucking bad at his job. Give me LSU. I don't like it, but give me LSU.
Okie dokie. 2 more games. Both sub 3 point spreads. We'll go Baylor, a 2.5 point favorite in Morgantown.
What time is this game?
Green's not playing. Green's hurt. The backup played really well for them. The lefties been playing really well for West Virginia, but they've just burned me too many times. And I'm gonna go with Baylor.
Okay.
I mean, West Virginia just won last week. They beat Cincinnati. I think this is, and they won the week before against Arizona. Again, not that that's meaning anything, but still. I don't think this is a particularly challenging.
They've burned me too many times.
I get it. I don't think this is a particularly challenging game for them. So when the stakes are high, West Virginia's folded this year for sure. I don't think this is particularly high. I think that they win.
I think I agree. I think West Virginia wins in a convincing fashion, north of 2.5 points.
Just so they can fuck it up next week. But yes.
Yep. I like Rob and I are on the same thing. All right. The highly contested game of the week, all because the conference leader is in it. Kansas, 2.5 point dog at BYU Provo at night.
All right. Well, we already know what Tyler's picking.
Provo at night is supreme. So we're going with BYU, baby. Jake Retzlaff. My shirt should be coming in by next episode. Pull that off.
An incredible shirt. I am going to go with BYU because I think that the fix is in. I mean, not that BYU is a terrible team, but They keep scraping by and keep scraping by and keep scraping by, and not even like in last second, oh, we're coming back and winning. More like last second, the refs make sure that the other team can't come back.
Guys, this is exactly like TCU 2 years ago.
Yep. They're going to get carried by the Big 12 because the Big 12 needs something good. And the only reason that they might lose to Colorado is because either Colorado would just overpower them, or the Big 12 will give in and say, you know what? It'd be better if Colorado's the Big 12 champion.
I'm going to tell you right now, Daniels is dialed in. Leipold got the boys playing. Kansas ends this bullshit that BYU is a good team. They're not a good team.
You're asking.
They're exactly TCU of a couple years ago. Not a good team. When they play a real team, they're going to get fucking smoked. Kansas wins this game.
So Kansas is not a real team, but I agree with you.
You're
Because
asking.
TCU got carried all the way into the fucking playoff.
Yeah, that bullshit stops this week.
And you're
Right,
asking probably the greatest 3-8 team, 3-8 team to do it.
Yeah. That's what he's saying. He's saying that Kansas is better than Nebraska from a couple years ago, the best 3-win team you've ever seen.
Yep. Oh, okay.
I don't disagree, Johnny. I don't disagree with that assessment. I just don't think the Big 12 is going to allow it.
I can't stand BYU's not that good. They're literally they have the same feelings as BYU as have Penn State. They're not that good, and they just keep fucking winning these bullshit games against these terrible teams. And I don't believe in them. I don't.
I 100% agree. I just think Kansas is, once again, I think this is the perfect spot for them to win a bullshit game against a terrible team. I think Kansas has amazing talent, but they're not a good team. So
Anyway, but that's the games.
all right. Whew.
All right, boys. Well, thank you guys. That's week 12. College football, Spiked College Football. We are the boys of Spiked. Check us out. Spiked College Football on Twitter. We now are on Instagram. Spiked College Football on TikTok. We now have over 4 million views on our videos this year. We have 4,000 followers. Thank you guys so much. I keep clipping every week. I'll be streaming tomorrow at some point. Spiked _college_ football on Instagram. Spiked CFB88 on X. Come check us out. Come watch the live streams. Come hang out with us. I'm Johnny B. That's Tyler Allen. And that's Spiked Rob. Guys, as always, we do one thing. We keep it spiked.